Romantic Fiend, and I do horror-related things on the internet. Today, as you obviously know, I'm doing Gore's Bloody Sunday challenge, but I am also going to be talking about my subscriber contest and the person who won, because today's the date that the contest closed. Only 3 people entered, and only one of those people got likes on their comments, and so that person wins. That person being Renee Dune. Congratulations. You suggested that I do a original song based on my favorite Tim Burton movie, and I'm not telling you what that is because I don't really know what my favorite Tim Burton movie is because I love Tim Burton stuff way too much, and B, I sort of have what I usually refer to as my favorite, but I'm not going to tell you what it is because I don't want to ruin the surprise. I've already started thinking about what the song's going to be like, but I'm going to put probably way too much work into it, so you might not see that for a while, but it is in the works now, so congratulations, and I'll be working on that. I would also like to shout out Gore, obviously doing his challenge for entering. He suggested that I do either an original song, which that's already covered, or review something crazy, and that's definitely happening. This is kind of that, but also I've got some stuff coming up. Shout out to the House of Wyvern. Their channel is dedicated to gothic stuff, heavy metal, just generally the dark side of culture. Their stuff is awesome. Please check them out. They suggested that I do a video where I show off the weirdest stuff that I own in my house. I honestly don't know what that is, but considering how few entries I got, I might try to do that as a video in the future. So thank you to everyone who submitted. Thank you to everyone who's supported me anyway. Now I'm going to talk about what you're actually here for, which is the Gore Bloody Sunday contest. So I've only done 2 entries for this, and I haven't done any in a long time because I haven't really found a movie death that I felt was significant enough for me to really have anything to talk about, besides some of the deaths in the movies I've been doing for Heart of the Night reviews, and those are my reviews. I would just be redundant if I made a Bloody Sunday for one of those. So I finally found a death that I think absolutely cannot go unnoticed, and this is a death from the movie Theater of Blood. This is a 1973 movie starring Vincent Price and some other people. I don't really know who any of these other people are. I kind of recognize some of them, but I think I speak for most people when I say that the reason that we're watching this movie is because Vincent Price is in it. The premise of the movie is that Vincent Price is, I'm forgetting his first name, but he is Lionheart, this actor who is just torn apart by the critics for his entire life because he's very, very hammy and he only does Shakespeare. When they decide who the award for Best Actor should go to, they pick somebody other than Lionheart, and he, in a fit of melodrama and Shakespeare quotations, bursts into the room and throws himself off the balcony and presumably dies. But then he comes back and starts picking off the critics one by one, each in a little scene that he's put together, a little set piece, a scenario based on one of the Shakespeare plays that he did. Earlier on, they stay fairly faithful to what actually happens in the plays. He does, Julius Caesar. He takes some liberties with Merchant of Venice, but he just picks all these deaths from different Shakespeare plays and finds a way to single out these critics and kill them in that way. And there's some really crazy messed up deaths in this, and really what it is just, there's a plot to the movie, but it really is just one death sequence after another. Just these little set pieces with Vincent Price being extremely hammy and with all these critics dying at his hands in increasingly ridiculous ways, because they start out very, very true to the plays, but eventually they just start getting increasingly silly, but still basically what happens in the play. And he starts dressing up as like different things like a massage therapist and a hairstylist and then a cook. And this is the kill that I'm going to be talking about today. I strongly suggest that you go and just watch the movie and experience this for yourself, but I have to talk about it. This is the kill that is based on Titus Andronicus, which is Shakespeare's bloodiest play. I've not seen it, but I know of its reputation as being extremely gruesome, and I know that my local Shakespeare company did it one year for Halloween with full-on blood and gore effects. I would still love to see that. One of the things that apparently happens in Titus Andronicus is that somebody or other kills these children and bakes them into pies and serves them to their mother, who is the queen, which is already very messed up. But within the context of Theater of Blood, what ends up happening is there's this pretentious critic who's got these two, I think they're poodles, but these two little dogs that are always with him, and he talks to them more than he does any people. He's already a bit of a caricature of a character. After a bunch of people have already been picked off, you see Vincent Price / Lionheart and his cronies slinking into his house in chef's gear. You can kind of infer what happens, but it's revealed shortly after that. This guy goes back into his house and is looking around for his little babies, his dogs, and can't find them anywhere. Then suddenly the lights come on, and there is Vincent in full chef regalia with his cronies dressed as chefs as well, and he's got a big camera, and he's got this ridiculous Italian accent that I might try to imitate in a moment, but he's like, "Welcome to This Is Your Dish." That was terrible, but it's like This Is Your Life, I guess, but it's just supposed to be like, surprise, you're on TV, you get to try this food. And they shove these pies in front of him and start sort of interviewing him as he eats, and they're just like, how does it feel to be on TV? And he's just like, oh, it's amazing, I never thought that was happen, I wish my babies were here for this. And they're like, oh, but they are. And he's just like, well, it pans over to these severed dog heads that have been stuffed with something or other, and you just see his eyes widen and a little bit of the food fall out of his mouth. And that's a messed up death enough. I could stop Bloody Sunday right there, but no. They shove him onto the table, knocking everything off, and start force-feeding him these dogs, and it's really gross. I kind of wanted to throw up a little bit, but it was amazing, especially with Vincent being Vincent the whole time. He just is in full campy mode for the whole movie. I love Vincent Price in anything he's in, but this was so good. They're force-feeding him the dog, and he's spitting it back up, and he's just, like, quoting back lines of bad reviews to him. The reviews that they give are almost as funny as anything that happens in the movie. I don't remember all of them, but there's like one, I'm getting off topic now, but I'll get back to the kill in a moment. There's one where Vincent is quoting back this review that somebody did where it was just like, Lionheart's performance, between the fabulous performances of these two actresses, one is irresistibly reminded of a ham sandwich. Things like that. But anyway, he's force-feeding this guy his dogs, and he's spitting it back up, and then Vincent just crams this giant funnel into his mouth and starts pouring sludge into his mouth. It's so gross. And he starts choking on it, and eventually just starts ramming the funnel into his mouth until he dies. And that's what happens. I thought the other kills in this movie were over the top, but no. That is one of the most creative and messed up kills I have seen in a movie in a long time. There's some other great moments with Vincent in the movie, especially when he's a hairstylist. That's a fun one. Really weird, over-the-top horror, comedy, gruesomeness, and Vincent Price is in it. It's a great movie. That kill is still disgusting and amazing, and you need to check out this movie as soon as you possibly can. So, this has been my entry to Need Gore's Bloody Sunday, and thank you for watching. Please go watch this movie as soon as you possibly can. You will not regret it. Thank you for checking out my stuff, and I hope to see you in another video. Bye.